welcome to the podcast. I'm Marisa.
I'm Ariana.
And we're the Krolmeister sisters. As a reminder, this podcast is rated T for teen for strong language and mature themes.
If you like a podcast that does not have mature language and themes and randomly turn into a podcast about musicals, then head on over to Hers Very Own Podcast Unlocked, where I can assure you they do not turn it into a podcast about musicals. I'm pretty sure.
Probably. So, Ariana, what are we talking about tonight?
Oh, right. No, we're coming up with new games again.
There we go. Good job.
I was like, I don't know. It's been a long week.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. So, we are pitching more games, or as I called it, the pitchening.
The pitchening. Cue the thunder noise, Ariana, when you edit this. Yeah.
Yeah. So, the pitchening. We have 3, probably, more games to pitch to you.
Yeah, sure.
So, here, Ariana, you go first.
Okay. All right. Fine. My pitch is called The Innocent Man Throws Sand Onto the Fire.
Ooh, I like it. Let's hear it.
Because apparently this is an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, for those who didn't get the fucking reference. Okay.
For any of you who are
too young to know what Are You Afraid of the Dark is, stop. Go Google it. It's on YouTube. You're fine. Okay.
Just go on TV Tropes. It'll be fine.
Okay. The Innocent Man. Our story begins. No, okay. So what I want is, my game is more story-driven than, actually,
what I want, so. And then the first thing I see in the notes is there's a man in prison. What I want is a man in prison. Continue.
What I want is a man in prison. No, what I want is Nancy to prove a man's innocence. Yeah. So, here's the deal. My idea is that there is a man in prison who has heard about Nancy's exploits as a sleuth. In fact, I'd really like it to have a cinematic turn in the very beginning where we're seeing over his shoulder a little newscast of, like, her latest, some off-game mystery she's solved. So, like, it's not something that we've played before, but it's, like, something, and there's, like, one of those smudged pictures of her, and it's really cutesy and everything, but, like, it's over his shoulder as he's watching in the rec room in prison, at prison camp.
Prison camp,
Anyway, or a newspaper article, some shit, where he's seeing Nancy. Anyway, but he's heard about her, and he calls on her to prove his innocence. Of course, Carson is very against this because the prosecutor who put him away, his office is where Carson was interning when he was a young man. Now, also, and this is where it gets really story-y, this is like it's like Spy, in that it turns out that a young Kate Drew, when she wasn't Kate Drew, whatever her maiden name was, anyway, a young budding reporter, believed that he was innocent and didn't think that, there was enough evidence to prove his guilt. And this turns out to be how they've met. And there has to be part of the story where Kate and Carson are in a very heated argument in the halls, and then he ends it with, then maybe we could discuss this at dinner. I think it'd be cute. Anyway, but I think why I really want this is I would like it to be a good, these games are supposed to teach kids things, and I want this to teach empathy. So, similar to how we deal with people's perceptions of Alexi in Ash, and how we deal with kids in the system with Grigor, I want it to deal with both presumed guilt and a broken prison system. Like, not, like, really getting into it, but, like, just touching on it, like they did with the foster system, Just sort of in kid-friendly terms. I figure that, if if Steven Universe can deal with, like, abusive relationships in a kid-friendly term, I'm pretty sure Nancy Drew can deal with the prison system, okay? Like, I'm pretty sure they could do it.
Okay.
But anyway, his crime can be definitely something more cartoonish. So it could be, like, a bank robbery, because what fucking idiot robs a bank in this day and age?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry. I'm better now. Anyway, but it turns out he was framed by his brother. So it's going to be a whole lot of, like, character interviews and shit like that. But I want it to be that that he wanted to frame him, in part because he wanted to get away with, you know, committing the crime, but also because he'd always been in love with his brother's wife. And he kind of hoped that, you know, she would see him as a criminal and turn on him and leave him for her. But, you know, it didn't really work. She actually is the one that the guy sends to talk to Nancy. So, you know, she gets that, you know, grieving wife, like, very classic private investigator setup. Like, very noir. But, yeah.
Is this the femme fatale? She gonna be like, Nancy, I need you to help me.
I need your help. My husband's in trouble. Nancy's like, well, for a dame like you. Although I do really need it to be, like, kind of in the River Heights area so that Bess can make that kind of a joke.
Definitely.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, that's really all I have for it. It's not like a super...
No, I like it.
But I really want a character one, basically, I think is what I'm going for here.
And part of it is that we're going to have to figure out where the money gets stashed.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Definitely.
So that's a huge part. You know, if we can find the money, then we can find, you know, figure out what really happened. So
exactly.
Because he couldn't have, if the brother had spent the money, then, you know, it would have been traced back to him. Mm-hmm. So obviously he didn't. Wait,
yeah.
Yeah, so he's obviously just, because, you know, they're going to be
just
traced bills.
Couldn't
traced bills.
Buy his daughter a bike.
Yeah, and just stuff the rest of the bills in the bike. Yeah.
Like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, just didn't rob the same bank twice or something. Didn't do that. No. Yeah, so, but yeah. We're not explaining.
Never gonna explain it.
But, definitely. I like it.
Bank robbers are idiots, right, guys?
Yeah, bank robbers are idiots. And I like the idea of it being a bank robbery because it's like, that's definitely a crime where there's not like a...
Right.
Like much of a... Like a gray area about...
Yeah. Like, stealing money, bank robbery, that's a pretty big thing.
Yeah.
Pretty
Armed
big.
robbery, even.
Armed robbery, yeah.
But
or maybe he's faking that he had a gun.
Yeah. Or it was never loaded. Yeah. Yeah, so. I like that one. I like it.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Thanks.
My next one, which I called Doctor's Orders, I guess, because we
came up with cutesy names for some fucking reason.
For some reason. So I like the idea that Nancy is helping out at a doctor's office. So she is helping out at this, like, general practitioner's office, private practice type place. And she's helping as a transition between an old partner, and he's handing off the practice to his younger partner, and she's coming in to take over. And the older partner is like a friend of her dad's, right?
Because everybody's a friend of Carson's.
Oh yeah, everyone is. So she's helping with that. What she's there to do is she's there specifically to help the transition go smoothly. She's there to help file things. So we have all of that. As Nancy, we're going to be doing things like filing paperwork, trying to digitize, documents, move everything over to a digital system to help with this, because this, the new female doctor is taking over. She's trying to modernize the practice. She's trying to bring everything into the 21st century. All of that stuff, right? So that's what Nancy's there to do. She's there to try and do that. However, trouble starts when things start going missing. Things start breaking. Patients are being, double booked. like, what's happening, and patients are being scheduled. Their appointments are changing time, stuff like that. All of their appointments are going awry. Medical equipment is now, even if it's new, it's just not working right. Supplies are going missing. And then finally, maybe a piece of equipment malfunctions and a small fire gets started, right? Something like that happens.
Shit.
I know, right? So now Nancy is there. So they're like, you have to figure out what's going on because, otherwise no one's going to want to keep coming back to this doctor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to figure out who's doing it. Is it the old doctor trying to sabotage the new practice?
Boom.
Is it the loyal nurse who's been there with the old doctor for years, trying to sabotage the new practice? Is it the new doctor trying to shut down the practice to cash in on the insurance money? Is it one of the patients just trying to scare off the new doctor?
Or, hey, okay, here's a thought too. Maybe the doctor, the old doctor, had a kid who went to med school to try to assume the practice from his dad or her dad or whatever, but wasn't as good as the new doctor, and so they got snubbed, and they're like,
yeah,
well, what about me? And they're trying to sabotage it.
Exactly. There are all these people to be suspects, and Nancy has to figure out who it is. Otherwise, the practice will have to shut down.
No.
And it's like a smallish clinic that obviously is one of the only clinics that takes Medicaid in the River Heights area.
Shit, man.
Why not?
Yeah.
Teach children about medical insurance.
There's a whole subplot about insurance, and it's like, oh fuck.
The case where Nancy deletes a bunch of medical debt. But something like that, I think that'd be great because there are lots of things that Nancy can learn. That we can learn things about human anatomy, like what have to be able to put together, how doctors' offices have all these model things that are they'll have a model stomach or
models,
stuff like that. So that things that Nancy could be putting together to have kids learn anatomy, right? Things where Nancy could be sorting medical supplies for, kids to know what proper things to do for first aid. What Nancy has to do, a quick first aid class, basically, right?
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
And so kids have to do a basic first aid test. That would be great. That kind of thing. That would be really, really good.
Something similar to learning about horses
tornadoes.
Oh, okay, that works too.
I was thinking more the weather stuff in
I was thinking
Twister.
The horse stuff, you couldn't do something until you had learned this. Because
Yeah.
the Trail of the Twister thing, you can fuck up as much as possible. And
That's true.
So I was thinking more
Yeah.
the horse
You can't
thing.
leave with Bob until you learn about horses. Yeah, exactly. They won't let you continue the story until you learn enough first aid stuff that they feel comfortable letting you do things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe you sit in on a doctor's appointment or something. That'd be really cool. I think, especially if her interactive is we're all about girls in STEM.
Yeah. We've
Medicine?
got plenty of scientific research stuff, but let's actually look at medicine. That's actually very,
I think that would get a lot of kids really interested in it,
And it could also be a really good way to stress the importance of nurses.
Yeah,
as well.
Definitely.
I feel like that's a role in the medical industry that's really kind of been underutilized.
Devalued.
Devalued, thank you. Yeah, just
yeah.
The RN is just fucking stressed beyond belief because they've had to carry the place, basically.
Yeah, because the older doctor has been having to cut back his hours because he can't do as much, and she's having to take, because RNs, registered nurses, can act as doctors. They just can't prescribe and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they can just take appointments and stuff. So she's like up to her ears and having to do all this, right? So, you know, it's a great thing to learn. I love it. That's how I feel about that one.
Yeah.
So that's my doctor one.
My doctor one.
It's my doctor one. I just like the idea of making them do like a first aid class because,
yeah,
like that stuff is really good for kids to know.
It is.
Like what to do in a first aid situation and like what to not do in a first aid situation, honestly, is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
If you get a burn, what do you do? I'm
just put butter on it.
Yes! Just put some mayonnaise on it. It'll be fine.
Let's get rid of every old wives' tale, please.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much. So, next game, as we decided on, we didn't have a fun name for this one, though. We couldn't think of one. But a climate change research group in Nepal, because we wanted to go someplace fun, right?
Yeah.
Fun. We wanted to go someplace different than Nancy has been before. So, somewhere very different from anywhere she's been before. So Nepal is South Asia, which she's never been to. The only place she's ever been to in Asia is Japan. Which is didn't really get to explore much.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it was a lot of the more westernized crap, to be perfectly honest.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was.
Let's get her out of the West. Let's try something different.
So, for people who don't know where Nepal is between India and China. It's like nestled. It's nestled between India and China. And it's gorgeous, and it's very affected by climate change.
Yes.
So, another thing that kids really need to be learning about is climate change, which is why I think it's an important topic to cover in a Nancy Drew game. Which is why I would say she's interning with a small research group who is in Nepal collecting data for climate change research. So she's there doing things like collecting temperature data and stuff like that. They're actually like collecting water samples and stuff, just collecting soil samples.
Actual interesting data gathering, not just brass sorting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So doing fun stuff like that, fun. Yeah. I like that kind of stuff.
Maybe we could do something and it'll make a line graph. I like making line graphs, says Risa in the notes.
I do like making line graphs, but
line graphs are very good.
It's, teaching kids data collection, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. They're having Nancy just do very basic stuff. She's putting stuff together. She's also doing like errands and stuff. So she's going out to
normal
get them.
Intern stuff, not fucking carbon dating shit or whatever she does in her other goddamn internships.
So they have her they go and send her in to the city to get food or something. Nepali cuisine. Which
we're very into that idea.
But getting to learn about the culture and the history and the beautiful landscape and stuff. It's such a very
Getting to even just hear the language in the background.
Oh yeah, definitely. She has to go run errands for them, go get stuff for them, that kind of stuff. Kind of closer to Danger by Design kind of a thing, but without it being terrible.
Like Danger by Design, but done well.
Yeah, so having, going and getting people food and stuff like that, but also doing some of the stuff. So what is the mystery? The mystery appears when the numbers stop adding up. So they're having Nancy collect some stuff and run some things for them. And she goes, wow, these numbers are amazing. So she brings them to the person in charge and they start double checking them. And they're like, well, this is impossible. This can't be true. But a bunch of the stuff they're getting coming back is coming out like that. So the question is, someone is sabotaging their research. Why? Right? So is it someone inside the group doing it to try to fudge their numbers to get extraordinary data out there as a paper? Or is it someone from the outside trying to discredit their research? Or is it just plain incompetence inside the team? What is it? So, that's my idea. And I want at least 3/4 of the cast to be Nepali.
Please.
At least. And at least half of them have to be women. Mm-hmm. So, that's my... And I want there to actually be, like, Nancy has to learn some Nepali, too.
Yeah, just, like, some little phrases. It doesn't have to be, like, a lot.
No, but she has to go order stuff. You know? She has to go order people's stuff. And I like the idea of it being, like, logic puzzles for having to go order things for people. Okay, so if... I'm just going to say random white people names because that's what I can think of. If Karen wants coffee, then I want a donut. You know, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So...
It's like, why are their orders reliant on each other? Well,
it doesn't matter, but it's that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I think that would be really fun.
Yeah.
But then also, it's stuff like Nepal is heavily affected by climate change, especially... Well, underdeveloped countries in general are, but Nepal, being a very mountainous country, is heavily affected because of floods, monsoons, and soil erosion. So it's just a good place to have that kind of game.
Yeah.
So, you know, it'd be fun. It'd be a good game, I think.
It'd be fun.
And we'd get to make line graphs. Data reduction.
Yeah,
Teach children about data reduction.
They should learn about it at a young age.
They should. That way they can be prepped for grad school.
Getting ready.
I'm just saying, if they want it to be children, you know, girls in STEM, we should actually make games about STEM.
Like, genuinely, not tangentially.
Yeah.
Like...
Instead
it takes place in a lab, but she does nothing scientific. There's absolutely nothing to be learned from this.
Nope.
But look, it's represented. It's like,
we learned
the case
about
where representation
Tesla.
doesn't.
That counts, right?
That's about history. That's not about.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah. And we teach them how to use Microsoft Excel. And we were
an undervalued skill.
Then we had, like, the vague idea of one last one. It's just a vague idea of a history game where there's, like, letters. We didn't ever come up with, like, the full idea of this one. So you guys
honestly,
get nebulous.
I think we kind of kept getting trapped on fried green tomatoes. I think was the main problem.
It's hard. So this is it. Nebulous letters. Just take in this experience, okay? Letters between lesbians in the 1930s. That's what we hear. That's what we're getting. And Nancy's reading these, and we're hearing them voiced to each other because that's what makes it so good. And it's a woman has been, like, trapped in, like, a marriage, maybe it's just a boyfriend, and her inheritance has been, like, stolen from her. Mm-hmm. And so the other woman is, like, comes to rescue her, and they, you know, this is all the stuff that's happening in the past, and they steal back her inheritance, and then they hide it somewhere else. So Nancy, in the present day, is having to deal with someone else who's trying to find that inheritance, and she's having to try and find it too. And then we also find out that the lesbians got to live happily ever after.
Yeah.
And that maybe they're still alive and we see them. Yeah. I'd like that.
I'd like to at least know that there's a happily ever after, because honestly, all of the people that we hear about in Nancy's little way back when stories, they do not get happy endings.
Yeah.
Their wife dies on a train and they carry them for a few months in the snow, or one of them is constantly a bad guy who gets killed.
Yeah, so I like this one better. They
like
run off and they become librarians.
They become librarians.
That's my idea.
It's a good one.
And I don't know exactly what's going on in the present day, but, that's... doesn't matter. What really matters is the feeling.
Yeah, it's the feeling. We do want... It does feel like a time for another history one.
It does.
It also definitely feels like there's not enough inheritance finding. And that, honestly, is about half of the Nancy Drew novels.
It's true. They're all about someone stole my inheritance. You have to help me find it.
They're all white people
They're trying to steal someone's inheritance. We have to stop them from stealing that child's inheritance. All of this. Right? That's pretty much all of the Nancy Drew books, at least the first, 50 of them. So... Or, oh no, they're kidnapping old people to have them sign away their...
the inheritance that should go to their kids and grandkids.
Exactly. See? That's pretty much all Nancy Drew books. So we just want to harken back to that.
Yeah. Well, until you get to the 90s. And then it was weird attempts at cybercrime.
The email mystery.
The email mystery.
Yeah.
Or Bess meets someone online and... There's this one part where there's a teddy bear and somebody gets kidnapped. I don't remember if it's Nancy who gets knocked out and kidnapped or if it's Bess, but somebody got kidnapped in that book.
Maybe Bess got catfished.
Yeah, before catfishing was a thing.
But yeah, those are our pitches for today.
Yeah.
If you guys have games you'd like to pitch, we'd love to hear them. You can contact us on our Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, and our fancy website, krolmeistersisters.myfightclub.com.
You can also find us on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, and you can leave us reviews there. Let us know how we did, and tell us, shut up! We don't like your opinions anymore.
Don't tell us that. Tell us you love us.
Tell us what you feel in your hearts.
No, just
sing
tell
us your heart song.
No, tell us you love us and we're good.
As long as that's your heart song. I will not accept lies.
I mean, if that's not your heart song, then
Get
quiet.
Out of here.
You can also subscribe to our Twitch so you can get access to our cute little wine glass emote during our streams. So, as a reminder, I'm Risa.
And I'm Mariana.
And we're the Krolmeister sisters, and we're asking you guys to stay